and more on Australia Day. Now, Cricket Australia is looking at whether it will suspend matches on Australia Day. First, joining me now, former Prime Minister Tony Abbott. Tony, welcome to the program. I've got a whole laundry list of stuff I want to get your view on, but I've got to get your view on Moira Deeming. I just spoke to her live in the studio. I wrote about her expulsion over the weekend. She's about as real as you're going to get. I think she's a terrific conviction politician. She's Liberal to her bootstraps. You're a former party leader. What on earth's going on in Victoria?
Peter, as the father of three daughters, I'm utterly dismayed that a mainstream political party would sack a member of Parliament for defending women's rights. And to the extent that the Liberal Party has a women's problem, it must have got much, much worse by the expulsion of this brave and smart woman from its own ranks.
Well, I couldn't agree more. And she's going to join the program, join Credlin here as a regular guest. I think it's absolutely important that, good supporters, Conservatives, Liberals around the country still treat her as one of their own, even if this mob in Spring Street in Victoria don't. Let's go to The Voice. The parliamentary report came out on Friday. Well, surprise, surprise, it's a Labor-dominated committee. They recommended no changes to the Prime Minister's wording. So those words will go to the Australian public, provided, of course, it passes now through the Parliament. You fronted the inquiry. You were originally told that we weren't going to let you speak. You weren't going to cop that. Anything in the report that surprises you?
Well, it's not surprising, but it is very disappointing. Distinguished lawyer after distinguished lawyer went before that committee to say that if the amendment is passed by the people as currently proposed, giving the Voice a constitutional right to make representations both to the Parliament and the executive government, the first time the Voice doesn't like what the government has done, it'll be off to the High Court, and the High Court almost certainly will find an implied right for the Voice to be heard, an implied obligation on the government to listen. And this is going to gum up government as never before. Now, I have even more fundamental objections to the Voice than that. I think it's wrong to entrench race in our Constitution. I think it's wrong to entrench separatism in the way we deal with Indigenous people. But certainly gumming up government even worse than it is something that was specifically looked at by this committee, and the vast bulk of the evidence, including from Voice supporters by people like Professor Greg Craven, was simply ignored. If the government was a business selling a product, the government would go down for false and misleading advertising.